This is Skip Lockwood, and you're listening to Mets Musing. I was a pitcher, a relief pitcher, a closer with the New York Mets. I have a new book out called Inside Pitch, Mets Musing. Thank you very much.
This is Len and Jeff from Baseball and Barbecue.
And the one place to go for New York Mets news,
Past week game reviews,
upcoming series previews,
interviews,
analysis,
opinion, and what's going down on the farm. It's Mets Musings with Gary Mack. So keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets.
Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings, number 341, a day late, but better late than never, I say. Where am I? There I am. All right. You know what? I'm taking it easy today. I'm going to take it easy this week because I've been ranting and raving all season long. And you know what? Yeah, it was a lousy week. They lost 2 of 3 to Boston, lost 2 of 3 to Philadelphia. They won the opening series in both games, in both series, both opening games in both series. That's it. And they didn't look awful. I know, you're being optimistic. There's no such thing as moral victories. But you see, I think there is. And I think they have played tons better this second half of the season than they did in the first half. I just think we were so disgusted with what happened in June that we really all gave up. And rightfully so. They were out of the race. They're out of the race now. But you know what? I'm taking a new look at things. Because there's 9 games left, and that's it. And then we got to wait 6 months of darkness. I don't like the winter. I don't like the cold weather. I'm not particularly a big football fan. I'll watch it. But they lost me a few years ago with all the chest bumping and just all of the things that they do now. Basketball, same thing. I lost my passion for it. I'll watch a little hockey, but at least those guys deserve the chest bump when they get a goal because they work so freaking hard to get one, and they're back and forth in that ice. So, but baseball's my thing, and in 9 days, my team is going to be finished. 9+ days, whatever it is. And that's sad. And looking back now, at least they're closing better. At least they brought up some young guys with seeing something that could possibly be put together for next year. There are pieces. And that is a lot of it. There are pieces in place. Do they need help? Oh, big time. Oh, lots of holes. Lots of holes to fill. But there are some pieces. We saw the emergence this year of Zach Wheeler. We saw the continuing evolution of greatness of Jacob deGrom. We even saw some good things from Noah Syndergaard. And as well as Steven Matz. And don't come after me with the pitches and the forks, but even Jason Vargas has finally got it straightened out and showing some good performances. Jay Bruce, he's auditioning for next year already. He wants to show us that it wasn't a mistake. Starting to come around. And I think the key with Bruce, and I've said this before, is he's healthy now. He wasn't healthy since spring training. He had the plantar fasciitis, whatever. You know, I'm always screwing up those terms, so just bear with me. And I don't think he ever got healthy. I really don't. I think he's been hurt all year until they finally shut him down. Because now he's come back and he's hitting a whole lot better. He's healthy. And so we go into 2019 and we have some, lots of question marks. But, they beat the Nationals last night, opening of the series. It's very early in the game, but in the first inning, they're up 1-0 right now. And, I was thinking about this series just the other day as well. And it dawned on me that if you looked at this series on paper in the beginning of the season, a lot of us were hoping and thinking that this could be a huge series. That this could be the series that may determine a division winner. Now, as it turned out, that's not the case. But the surprising part is that it turned out not to be the case for the Nationals as well. Everybody picked them to win. Number of writers picked them to win the World Series. They're not even going to make the playoffs. They've had quite a bad year. Pretty unbelievable. And they started cutting some of their team, cutting some salary. Got rid of Daniel Murphy, got rid of Gio Gonzalez. So, interesting situation. So we don't know what they're going to be like next year. But, the thought did pass through my mind that if you looked at this series on paper in the beginning of the year, looked at the schedule, you would have thought this would have been a big-time series. And speaking of the schedule, this is how depressing it's getting now, because at the beginning of the year, when I give you the games that are coming up, I had a full page of the Mets schedule in front of me, and now we're down to a little square for the month of September. And if I cut that down, it'd be even smaller, but we're down to 9 games, including tonight's game. And then we go into darkness. And the Mets are already taking steps forward to 2019. They shut down Zach Wheeler. I'd love to see him pitch some more, but he's coming off 2 injury-plagued seasons. And he threw 182.1 innings this season. They just felt, the Mets and Wheeler, I think, made a smart decision. They shut him down for the rest of the year. Before they shut him down, he picked up another win with a good effort against the Phillies. He won 12 games this year. That's a career high. And more than that, we saw him pitch to his potential and what we expected him to do when we got him from the Giants for Carlos Beltran. So really quite a fascinating evolution of Zach Wheeler. Whatever kicked in his head, I hope it stays there. Now the Mets shut down also Wilmer Flores, but for a different reason. He has early onset arthritis in both his knees. He was examined on Thursday of last week at the hospital for special surgery after complaining about pain in his knees. And I've got bad knees, so I can imagine what he's going through. He batted 267 this season. Collected 25 doubles, 11 home runs, and 51 RBI. Playing mostly first and second base. Flores earned $3.4 million this season and enters his final year arbitration 2019. So Wilmer Flores has been shut down, and I'm not too upset about that either, because at least perhaps that will give them a chance to look at Jay Bruce and Dominic Smith at first base. They're going to have to figure that situation out. Dominic Smith's been looking pretty good lately. Playing the field, hitting. So, yeah, I mean, the future could be bright for this team. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. It's not going to be a long show because I want you to get back and watch the game. If you're watching me live, I want you to get back and watch the game. So let's take a quick break and be back after this.
Hey, baseball fans and book fans as well. This is Frank Nappi, author of the Legend of Mickey Tussler series, inviting all of you to learn more about my protagonist, Mickey Tussler, an incredible pitching prodigy who has autism. Follow Mickey's journey as he captures the hearts of fans everywhere with his blazing fastball and indomitable spirit. Please visit Amazon or www.franknappy.com for more information.
Hi, this is the world-famous Mr. Brewtown of BrewtownSports.podomatic.com. You know, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Brewtown Sports. You can also listen to the show at Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com, and iTunes.com. And we've got the new one. It's called BrewtownRadio.weebly.com. But the one that I'm most proud of being on is BaseballPodcast.net. It is the home of great baseball talk shows. Check it out, my show and all kinds of other programs all about Major League Baseball. So check it out. That's BaseballPodcast.net, the home for great baseball talk shows.
The Phillies and Mets rivalry has never been better. Hi, my name is Rich Baxter, and I host Phillies Talk Podcast. I hope you'll join me as we talk all about the Phillies all season long. That's Phillies Talk Podcast at fightinphillies.com. And now back to Gary Mack and this great edition of Mets Musings.
516-619-6341. That is the comment voicemail hotline if you'd like to be a part of the show. And drop us a line, leave us a comment or a voicemail, question, anything at all. Call that number, 516-619-6341. Or go to MetsMusings.com and click on that widget in the middle of the screen, and that's a speak pipe, and you can leave a voicemail right through your computer through your computer's microphone. Or if you prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/MetsMusings, and the Twitter handle is at MetsMusings1. And if you'd like to help out the show, check out our Patreon page. Check out the campaign at patreon.com/MetsMusings. All right, and we're back, and some interesting little tidbits thought you might know, want to know. Last Monday night, the Mets won their 70th game of the season. Here's the scary part. They matched the win total from 2017 when they finished 70-92. Having gone 38-32, now this was as of Monday. Since the disastrous 5-21 June, the Mets are 70-80 on the season with 12 games remaining. That was 4 games ago. They are now 71-82. But the thing that got got to me was they've actually got a better year this year now than they did last year. And we all ranted and raved and cursed and did everything else you could think of all season long, and yet they're coming in better than last year. There is an improvement over last year. Now, I use the word improvement lightly because we expected so much more. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe it didn't. The team did not meet our expectations. And that could be why it seems like it was so worse than it really was the season. Or it was bad. But apparently last year was worse. So, I don't know. 6-1, half a done the other. Just thought that was an interesting fact that they've actually won as many games and now have passed that and have won more games than they did last season, and theoretically on paper had a better year than they did last year, even though we expected so much more. And when this season ends, the New York Mets will no longer be heard on WOR Radio 710 AM. Though next year you'll have to be cruising the radio dial again. But not too far, because you're going to go from 710 to 880, because the Mets announced a new 7-year agreement with Entercom to air their game on WCBS 880 AM beginning in 2019 and running through 2025. The new deal includes all regular season, spring training, and postseason games, along with pregame and postgame coverage. The new deal also includes Spanish language rights to Mets broadcasts, which currently air on ESPN Deportes 1050 AM in New York. The Mets joined the crosstown New York Yankees under the Entercom New York sports umbrella. Yankee games are heard on WFAN AM/FM, which was the Mets radio home from the station's inception in 1987 through 2013. We're pleased to be the new radio home of the Mets, said Susan Larkin, regional president and market manager for Entercom. We remain committed to bringing our listeners and partners the most exciting sports content from their hometown teams, especially in New York metropolitan area, where we will be the radio home for both Major League Baseball clubs. The company, at least, will be beginning in 2019. WCBS is an all-news station with plenty of experience airing sports play-by-play. They aired the Yankees recently and currently airs WFAN spillover play-by-play. In those circumstances, the station's added its non-stop news coverage on the web stream. There was no confirmation that this was the case again with upcoming Mets broadcasts, but industry sources are expecting this to happen again. So tune that dial if you're in a car, want to check out the Mets game. Not this year or next year. Wait till next year. Still listen to 710. And I certainly hope that they have bring Pete McCarthy and Wayne Randazzo and, of course, Howie Rose, the great Howie Rose, and Josh Lewin over to CBS. I don't think, it's never a problem when they change stations like that, unless the station's got an axe to grind with one of the guys. But I don't think there'll be a problem. And truthfully, it's probably up to the Mets, a lot of that. And Howie Rose, a fixture, he's got to stay with the Mets. We love Howie Rose. Wayne Randazzo, who was on this very show. Love him too. Does a great job in the pre and post game shows, and some great work doing some play by play with Howie Rose on the weekends now. When Josh Lewin, I think Josh Lewin does the Los Angeles Chargers games or some NFL team out in the coast, so he leaves, and I believe Wayne Randazzo takes over on the radio side with Howie Rose. So terrific thing. All right. You know what? One more quick break, and then we'll come back and go down on the farm. There's some farm news, a little bit of farm news there, and we'll call it a show. So stay tuned.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com, along with Mets Musings and other great baseball podcasts.
All right, and let me add to that if you cannot get enough of me and want more, be on the lookout for the next episode of Baseball and BBQ. I don't know when they're going to release it, but we recorded it last night. I was on for a brief segment of time. We were talking about the Todd Frazier incident and, the catch and the phony ball and that whole thing. So had a blast. Love being on with those guys. We're going to do some more stuff in the future, some forums. We're going to talk about hopefully we'll try to get a couple of guys together and talk about different things in baseball, and I'm going to try to get them on to do a recap of the Mets year, maybe have a little forum going here to do that. So look for that in the near future. But look for that episode in the next few days, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Now it's time to go down on the farm. Okay, as the 2018 minor league seasons came to an end, the Mets minor league staff made an all-star team. The blog site Mets Minors made an all-star team of prospects. This list is strictly based on offensive numbers, age, and defense. Did not play a role in our decisions. That was the staff from Mets Musings. We had Mets Minors. I'm Mets Musings. So here's what the guys at Mets Minors picked for their all-star team based on the Mets prospects. Catcher was Andres Reynaud, who played this year in the DSL and moved up to the Gulf Coast League, but never really got an at-bat there. Let's see. First base goes without saying. Peter Alonso started the year in Binghamton, went to Vegas. Second base is Jeff McNeil. Of course, McNeil, no stranger now to New York, as he has made his professional major league, I should say, debut, and has been doing a great job. At shortstop, they're picking Shervin Newton, who I've never really heard of, but they think he can hit better than Andres Jimenez. And, of course, that's, as they said, they're looking at offense only. And they're picking Mark Vientos at third. And the outfielders was Jared Kelenic, no surprise. Ross Adolph from the Cyclones. And Bryce Brentz, who is they said the Travis Tyrone eventually wannabe. So he must strike out a lot. I don't know much about Bryce Brentz. but he played at AAA this year. So that's the Mets minors guys screwing around, putting together a staff of prospects and an all-star team based on that. Also, in the minor leagues, Keith Law, who I believe is with ESPN, he's their minor league guru. He believes that the Mets have the possibility and have the foundation to have a top 10 farm system next year. So a very quick turnaround with the farm system, a couple of good trades and some good draft picks. Now, of course, some of this is going to depend on next year's draft picks, who is chosen and, where they pick, they select. But, some positive news. And that's what we're all about. We want positive news here. So we're just hoping for good things next year. Can we have 1 year of health? That's all I'm asking for. Just 1 good year. Everybody's healthy. Yeah, your minor aches and pains, and guy misses a couple of days here and there. That happens. You can't not have that. But I mean these major injuries where we lose key players for months on end. That's what I'm talking about. And let's hope. Let's all say a prayer this winter. Let's say a lot of prayers this winter. And make a novena or whatever. And hope that the Mets can get some health into their system next year. And it stays throughout the year. But there's a long way to go before that. We still have 9 games. We'll have another episode before the regular season ends. We'll touch on probably David Wright a little bit next week. And as we approach his final start for the New York Mets, and we'll see how the season, how the schedule is going to work out in the winter. Don't know how we're going to do it yet. Have a couple other projects, so we'll see what works out. But you'll be the first to know. So be sure to subscribe and be looking for this podcast all the time. MetsMusings, MetsMusings.com. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. As soon as I can find the theme song on my handy-dandy little player. There we go. So have a great week, everybody. We'll be back next week to wrap it up. And remember, until then, look, the season's almost over, but keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go, Mets.